What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be creating this Pink Floyd poster using Adobe Illustrator and then finishing the effects up in Photoshop. One of the things that I like to do as a designer is take two different things that have nothing to do with each other and try to combine them in some kind of concept that works. This is just to help you get your creative juices flowing, taking two things that have nothing to do with each other and seeing what you can do with the two of them. Before I get going here, please remember to hit like and subscribe at the bottom and also click the bell for notifications to be notified of all future content. Now, let's make this poster. All right, so I'm here in Adobe Illustrator, and here we've got so this is a magnet that I found on Amazon, and I have seen an image of the Kellogg's Corn Flakes box before that is that this is kind of based on, but I'm just gonna kind of use this as a jumping off point for inspiration since I can't find that original image. At least I wasn't able to at first. So I did a little bit of research beforehand and found that the name of this font is Barley Script. So what we're going to do here is the header for this, of course, is just going to be Pink Floyd. And when it comes to script fonts, I always make sure that I leave it at auto because I want to make sure, first off, let me say this. I want to make sure that that I use it the way that the designer intended for all of those letters to connect with each other, especially when the letters do connect. Now, in cases where they don't connect, then you can certainly go in and adjust the kerning a little bit. I think really that's the only part of it that needs to be adjusted. So we'll just leave it at that. And since we know that this is not going to change, I'll just go ahead and create outlines for it. One thing you could do with something like this is you could make it into an editable poster and then just adapt it to whatever album that you're wanting to do. So, all right, let's click our anchor point right here, and I'm going to leave a 2-inch margin around everything. So let's grab the Pink Floyd and let's go ahead and combine or unite. And for right now, I'm just going to leave everything as black, and then we can just kind of go in and change the colors later because, I'll probably have to go in and make a couple of adjustments there anyway. All right, so let's go ahead and do the wall. Obviously, we're not going to use that same font, but I am going to use Acumen for this. This is a great font right here, and probably I think condensed black will be good. There is ultra black, but I think I'm just going to go with just regular condensed black. So let's go ahead and do optical for the kerning, and I'm just going to kind of, as you can see right here, so the Corn Flakes, so what it is, it's like, if you were to draw a line, of course I could use a guide, but I'm just going to do this. It's almost to the point where it's the same width as the Kellogg's right here. So we're just gonna kind of do the same thing, just kind of mimic it a little bit since we are happy with this particular one. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So this is 20 inches. So I will make this probably 18 inches. I think that's good. And what I'm gonna do here is, nope, not that. Okay. And we'll just kind of push it down. Maybe, I think half an inch is good. Turn my bracelet around so I don't keep keep knocking into my table here. All right, let's see. So one of the things that we're doing here is we are taking up less vertical space. So you could do something like this, and let's just kind of see how it works or how it looks if we did do 2 lines right there. You know what? You could even do something like this. Really, at this point, I'm just kind of playing around. Of course, that's what this whole project is, really, is just playing around. So let's get it to that line and then push it down by half an inch. And you could do something like that. So 3 inches, and then just double the size for the height there. And what I'm kind of thinking of in my head is, just kind of making it kind of like a promo poster, which you could easily do. Let's see here. I think that I may actually be able to get away with making it a little bit shorter. So maybe 24 by 30, something like that. And we'll just kind of see. I'm not too wild about this actually, so I think I'm just going to go back to doing it this way. You know, it never hurts to try though. If you've got an idea, definitely, you know, throw it on the artboard and give it a shot. Okay, so for something like this, so they are using brush script right here. So I'll just kind of do the same thing. I think pretty much every computer that's ever been made, at least since, you know, the late 80s, probably has brush script on it. So let's do that. And instead of regular size, I'm going to say the new album, since this is a promo poster. So brush script, I'll just use that. And we need to make it significantly smaller, maybe something like this. And I'm going to go ahead and make my horizontal lines, and let's kind of beef it up a little bit, maybe around 5 points. I think that looks good. And I'll just kind of mimic the same thing here. Let me get my, okay, I already have exact sizing. Good. Okay, so I'm going to bring it down probably by an inch or so. And just in case you don't know about this tool, this is I'm going to use the blending tool, or blend tool. You know what? Let me turn on my keycaster so you can follow me. I just realized that I don't have it on. Okay, we're good now? All right, good. All right, so I'm going to start this over real quick. And we'll go 4 inches there for the side, for the width. And I think I'm actually going to push this down a little bit more, because I think we're going to have 3 lines in between there. So it's a Command Option B if you're on a Mac. I'm sorry, I don't know what the shortcut is if you're on Windows. Okay, so blend options, Command Option B, and then you go over here. You know what? I'm going to do this again. Go over here to the blend tool, double click on it, and then select on specified steps, and then hit 3. And then from this point, you go to Object, Expand everything, and then ungroup. So Shift Command G. So now let's bring these 3 down to about 3.5 inches or so. And there's all kinds of ways you can do that. Like what I just did right there. There's all kinds of ways you can do that. But that's just the way that I like to do it. You know, you could just draw out individual lines right there and just make sure that they're spaced apart and everything. But I'm so used to doing it this way, you know. But like this is Illustrator. You know, it's kind of like web design, you know, and coding and everything. There's so many different ways that you can do things. So, all right, so let's go right here. I keep saying so a lot. Why do I keep saying so? Sorry. Go something like that. And let's make sure that we have our margins correct. So this is going to be 2 inches, and then we'll get this over to the side and then bring it in by 2 inches. And these should all be, yeah, those are all grouped. Those are all grouped. So let's make sure that we get our spacing correct, and then I'll just go ahead and select these and group them together, since they're going to be the same color anyway, so it's not a big deal. Let's push this down by probably, I think 1 inch should do it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if I should go back to the 2 lines, because there's not too much information that's going to be put here. So I think I'm going to try that. Okay, and we'll go back to making this, I think we'll make that 4 inches. Since it's a promo poster, you know, there's not too much information that we're going to put on there. So we'll just say the new album, push it down by 1 inch. And I'm not really going to worry about this graphic right here. That's it kind of looks like a football a little bit. I'm not really going to worry too much about that. But what I will do is so this font that they're using right here, sorry, 20th century. So let's go ahead and grab that 20th century bold, And let's see here. So I actually have some information written down over here. So 26 tracks. And let's see. I kind of like the idea of like spelling out like, I'll use an ampersand right there. Let's see, 1 hour and 21 minutes of new music. So we'll go something like that. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I'm actually making this for my dad. And I guess maybe he loves Corn Flakes. So, I mean, I know he likes Corn Flakes, but I don't know if it's necessarily his favorite cereal. Basically, I don't know what made me think of doing Corn Flakes. It was probably just something I saw online. It was like, oh, that would be interesting to make into like a music poster or something like that. All right, so I've got some information. I'm just gonna copy it over here. So, Britannia Row, Super Bear. These are the studios that it was recorded. There we go. And let's see. I think what I'll probably do here is do something like recorded at, there we go. And let's see if we can get the release date. Okay, so Pink Floyd, The Wall. I'm yelling at Google by having all caps turned on. Okay, November 30th, 1979. Turn on all caps. And I think I'm gonna do the TH right there. Okay. So that's looking good. And let's push this down to the bottom. And so now we have, right here we've got all of our information that we want to get onto the actual poster. So now let's just go in and make a couple of adjustments. Really, I'm just gonna make sure that these units are all grouped together. So I'm gonna select all of these units right here and then distribute the spacing vertically. So that way everything is nice and spaced out correctly. Okay, so there's only a couple of things on here that we're gonna actually turn red. Before we do that, we have to ungroup because these are strokes and not fills. So let's go ahead and color match. This right here, I'll probably, actually I'm pretty happy with that red. So when I'm selecting a fill and I want to match the color of a stroke, so select the item that you want to color and then hit I on your keyboard and then hold down Shift and click with your mouse and that will pick up that color. If you don't hold Shift, then it will turn it into a stroke. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, we'll just do the same thing here. And I actually really like that. It's kind of like a pinkish red, but it's not too pink. And that, that goes in perfectly with Pink Floyd. So, all right. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this. So this is at 100% solid black. So I'm going to make it a little bit lighter just to kind of give it an aged look. And then also if we add, we're probably going to add some kind of effects on here. That way the black text can pick up on all of those effects. All right, so now I'm gonna put a shape around here that has neither a stroke nor a fill so that I can grab everything just like this and then copy it. And we're gonna paste it as a smart object into our Photoshop document. Okay, paste that. And then what I had before was 24, so just go in and add 24 in your image size and it'll scale it up. And since it's a smart object, it will it's technically a vector object within Photoshop, so it's gonna maintain its clarity. Okay, so I think the first thing we need to do here is we need to give it like a solid color background, and we need to do something like this, like a nice light yellow, just to kind of make sure that we give it an aged look. That's too much, I think. no more than 10. I'm thinking probably 5, 6, or 7, something like that. And I think I'm going to change the hue just a little bit more. Okay. All right, so now let's check out some effects that we can apply to this. All right, so I've got some effects right here, and basically what we want to do is we want to make it look like, you know, a cardboard box, you know, because cereal comes in a cardboard box. So let's see what we've got in here. These are mostly paper. I think I do have some cardboard. Yeah, I do have a couple of cardboard ones right here. I kind of like this one, so let's try this one. And basically what we're going to do is just try out some different blending modes. So let's get that all the way to the top. And I'm going to hold down shift. It doesn't really matter right here if it's stretched out. Doesn't really matter too much. All right, so let's go ahead and start applying some blending mode effects here and just see what we can do in terms of making this look, you know, genuinely aged. All right, so hard light is interesting, but it's very yellow. Vivid light is nice. Linear light is cool, but I think if we were going to do that, we would probably desaturate. Yeah, and then maybe just kind of tone down those effects a little bit. Subtract is interesting. Divide is looking good. Okay, so now that we've gone through all of them, I think that I'm going to stick with... It's one of those things, like, it's funny actually, I hate saying this, but it is true. I'll know it when I see it, type of thing. So I think that vivid light is probably going to be what I'm going to go with. Just because it does give it that age look that I'm going for, but I am going to turn down the saturation. So, you know, I want that yellowing to be there, but not, you know, completely in your face. And I'm going to just shift the hue a little bit, maybe by -10. I think that's good right there. And then of course, you know, if this was made in, you know, the the 1970s, the late 1970s, if this poster were actually made back then to look like, you know, a cardboard box, and, you know, it's not going to have this super clean, crisp text that we've got going on here. So, so I'm going to select my Vector Smart Object, go to Filter, Blur, and Gaussian Blur, and then maybe give it like, I may actually give it a pretty heavy one, somewhere between 3 and 5, but you also got to make sure that you pay attention to the smaller portions of the text as well, because it is going to apply it to the entire thing. And I think that if we were to do it at a 4 or maybe even a 3.5, it should still be enough while keeping it plenty legible. And as you can see with the Gaussian blur, what it's doing is it's edging out the font or the type a little bit and just kind of bleeding the text into the textures that we've got set on top of this. So this is what it would look like up close right here. I don't know if I've ever really done this, like showing you an up close of what it looks like. But, you know, this definitely adds, you know, that genuine age look to it and just makes it look like it's that much older. So I think that this is pretty cool. I'm happy with this. What I am going to do now is just kind of add a layer of grain, because that's just what I do. So go to Filter and Camera Raw Filter. And I'm going to turn this up. I'd like a fair amount, but maybe not too much. So like probably 75. I don't think we're going to go all the way up to 100. So let's just kind of see what we've got here. I think 50 is going to be good. And then the roughness, I don't want it to be too rough, so probably 25. And no vignette. I rarely put a vignette on it. And basically what this does, it just really helps to give it some consistency in its effects all across the board. So like, let me see if I can go in a little bit more so you can see the difference there. So adding that extra layer of grain right there, this is what it looks like without it. This is with it. So it just kind of helps it to give it a little bit more consistency. And you know, now that I'm looking at it, I mean, that's what I normally do, but I don't know. I may keep it, but just kind of back it off a little bit. You know, maybe taking it down to 50% or so. That way, you know, that way it actually looks like it's printed on that type of cardboard, and it's picking up all of those effects from there. And what's cool about this too is that you can double click on your smart object, so it'll actually bring up a new file right here. And if you wanted to, you could really, you know, I mean, shoot, you could even change the color of this red right here if you wanted to. You could darken it. I'm only darkening it so you can actually see the difference. I definitely want to keep it a nice bright red, but just save it here and then go back into your Photoshop document and it updates. So, and this also kind of gives it a little bit more of an aged look, but I still want that nice bright pinkish red. So I think I'm gonna try maybe something with a little bit more saturation. I don't want it to look too, you know, I don't want it to look too modern, like it's obvious that it was done today. So I may end up, okay. So that's what that looks like, but I think that I'm just gonna stick with this. I think I'm pretty happy with this. All right, so let's go back. Yeah, definitely. All right, so here's our Pink Floyd The Wall, the new album promo poster based on an old vintage box of Corn Flakes. So this is what it looks like. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of this down in the comments. All right, well, thanks a lot for watching me combine those two concepts of Corn Flakes and Pink Floyd. I still don't know if there's an actual connection there or if I just thought they would look cool together. So it was a lot of fun to make that. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe at the bottom, and also click the bell for notifications to be notified of all new content. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.